Story 1. Yes, I put you in a group with the kid you have a crush on intentionally. I'm stuck here with you 180 days a year. I want to see some drama. I think this is my most upvoted comment. Glad my matchmaking could make some folks smile. Also, thanks for my first gold. Silver 2. No paparazzi, please. But seriously, thanks. Story 2. I think what you learn in the other classes is mostly useless rubbish. The things you are supposed to do to learn it are boring and ineffective, and the way our schools are organized is archaic and not fit for humans, much less children. Story 3. I'm not saying I liked fights in my classroom. I'm just saying I might have taken a little longer to react when the jerk student or bully was finally getting what was long overdue. Also, thank you to my students who would have my back when they'd kindly remind the class that I exist. Hey, you all, please be quiet. Mr. Undersir is trying to teach. I had to look a little disappointed, but I appreciate you and I thank you for being my voice. Story 4. Yes, we have a new seating chart, and yes, I sat you next to her because I can tell you have a crush on her. I noticed you try harder on your work when she is around, and to be honest, you two would make a cute couple. Story 5. I am no longer a teacher, but I remember several days when I felt lazy and wanted to give the class the day off. I never did because I knew the teacher's pet would report me. Sometimes even the teachers don't like the teacher's pet. Story 6. I would let you get away with so much more if you were actually a decent person who treated others with kindness and respect. People who are unkind rarely get the benefit of doubt or indifference. Story 7. I teach middle school in Taiwan. My students are 60% English as a second language, 30% intermediate English proficiency, and 10% native fluency. I have 42 students, so this number is accurate. I want to tell them this. I'm not an idiot. When you are ridiculing me in Chinese, I've picked up phrases and know which ones you're using. Don't act surprised when I give you detention for calling me Ben Dan, dumbass, or Bai Chi, idiot. I know what you're saying, ugh, Ben Dan. Story 8. Trying hard is necessary but not sufficient for most accomplishments. Intelligence is necessary but not sufficient for most accomplishments. I can't tell the sweet, hardworking but unintelligent kid he won't be a doctor. I can't tell the smart but lazy person he won't be a doctor. Both end up in my remedial class and blame being in remedial class on mean teachers labeling them. I appreciate childhood is the time for dreams, but it means people make terrible decisions when they don't understand that we just put them at the highest level we think they can pass. We don't know why they are years behind their peers, just that they are. I try to see potential and inspire kids to try their best. I really do. But there's not a lot I can do if someone is dedicated to hiding their low intelligence by trying to appear as a lazy person instead, or trying to hide their higher intelligence by pretending to be unintelligent to get easier work. Story 9. You can be unsuccessful at school but successful in life. I pretend that it is important for you to do well in my subject, but in reality you'll most probably find your niche in life and be reasonably content or, hopefully, extremely happy. You might hate mathematics, English, and science, but turn out to be the most amazing parent, artist, carpenter, or even a mathematician, playwright, or researcher. You might get the lowest scores in class and end up being the most successful of your peers. I feign annoyance, anger, disappointment. I reluctantly phone your parents, give you detentions, or write up critical reports. I have to. It's my job. If you do well in my subject, then that's great. But if you don't, then just relax. We can't all be good at everything. Oh, and do you think you hate exams, tests, and homework? Your mild dislike of the work is a mere candle flame compared to the hatred that burns like a million suns that I feel when I have to mark it. Story 10. Look, obviously, I am on Reddit all day too, or I wouldn't be posting here. But for the love of God, can you please pretend to be working so I can go back to being disappointed by reposts? Story 11. I just want to say that I love all of you wonderful, underappreciated, and underpaid teachers. Teachers got me through some of the worst times of my childhood and adolescence. Except for you, Mrs. Hanson. Forget you. Edit. It's been almost a month, and I still appreciate people using this comment as a place to talk about the terrible teachers they've had. Teachers are amazing. Keep criticizing the ones who don't deserve to be grouped in with the awesome majority. Story 12. that we have much better hearing than you assume. We just choose our battles when it comes to inappropriate comments. Sometimes I pretend not to see that thing you did just because I also found it humorous, and speaking to you about it would only result in me laughing. Well, this really blew up. I am just now seeing people's reactions to it. I appreciate all the responses. A lot of great comments, and I can definitely share stories for those interested. Haha. Story 13. When you think you are being clever by getting me to talk about random things at the beginning of class instead of teaching, I'm really allowing it to happen because I don't have enough planned to cover a full class. Story 14. Not a teacher, but an evening janitor. Part of my area is where the robotics club gathers and works. You guys are so amazing. I wish you could see what I see. A group of kids who are well mixed in ethnicity and gender working hard together. I never see signs of drama when I walk by. When I look through the windows, I can see that you guys are listening to each other and treating each other seriously, while also having fun. When you guys leave at night, your room is my favorite room to clean. It's always so clean already, and I get to look at your projects and see what all that elbow grease is doing. It's so encouraging to know that these kids are part of our future. They stay an average of 2 hours after school every day, and you can tell it's not forced. They are so enthusiastic that their energy practically shines into the hallway. I celebrate every time a new award is added to the trophy cabinet in the hall. Story 15. You do not need anything I teach you to be successful in life. Math is about learning to think, not graphing functions and solving equations. People assume I do not know where the math I teach is used. Ipromesido. The point I am making is that we do not care if the general population can solve polynomial equations. We care that they learn to think. Story 16. I can definitely hear the horrible things you are saying. Yes, I see that you are on the other side of the room. I may be old to you, but I am certainly not deaf. Also, that teenage boy is definitely going to buy you a Big Mac in exchange for oral sex 100 out of 100 times. Story 17. I teach middle school, not high school, but for me, it's that I know things are difficult at home. I see it every day when you come into my class. I see the tears you're hiding, the pain behind that class clown smile, the emotional fragility behind your tough guy persona. I know exactly what it's like to come from a broken home. I wish I could do something, but until you come to me, all I can do is try and let you know with a look, a smile, a subtle turn of phrase, that I'm always there for you when you need an ear or a shoulder. Story 18. That it's just as weird for me as it is for you when we bump into each other in public. Edit. Instead of responding to everyone, I'll tell my story here. I went on vacation with my then-girlfriend and bumped into a student 3 states over. We both kind of shook our heads no at each other and kept walking, silently agreeing not to address it. I saw this same student again 2 months later during the summer at a concert where they were underage drinking. We just shook our heads at one another again, keeping that same silent agreement. I saw this same student 4 more times during the summer entirely by accident. It was never discussed. Story 19. Right now my students are up in our mobile classroom. Class was supposed to start at noon. My co-teachers and I are down in the classroom. They're thinking, if no one goes down there to get them, we won't have to do any work. We're thinking, let's see if anyone comes down here to get us. Social experiment. If not, we don't have to do anything. The events that happen when the day should have been a snow day. Story 20. If I did not think you would abuse the situation, I would really enjoy being more human and casual around you. I think you are a fun person to be around. Story 21. You are unique, you are not special. Set your goals high, but understand that if you change your goals to needs, you will have a lifetime of disappointment. Story 22. I would honestly tell my little kindergartners that life is tough. I love you. Many of you cannot count on your parents at all. You are poor and have to work harder. I need you to understand how important your education is for having a better life. But I am a male teacher in early childhood. Distance is very important, and I cannot afford to have a parent become overly protective with me. So I just do my best to make them feel valued in my class. Story 23. The odds of you using any specific piece of knowledge you learn in high school are slim. The odds of you using some piece of knowledge from high school are near absolute, and you have no idea what it is going to be or when it will happen, so you may as well try it all of it. The biggest thing you're going to learn is how to learn. Story 24. To my freshmen, yes, I always know when you didn't do my math because you stayed up late playing Fortnite. You added me as a friend on Epic Games, so I see that. Also, the amount of homework not done in lower grades when new battle passes come out is so coincidental. To a specific freshman, I support your desire to become a streamer, but editing videos should not keep you away from your homework for a whole week. And your friends always rat you out when you stay home or skip to make or edit those videos. To all high schoolers I teach, you're not always wise, but I do love you guys. I'm not stupid, and while I know you cheat on your homework, I don't care since it's only worth 10% of your grade, and you're foregoing the practice you can get before the test. To the 6th graders I teach math to, dear Lord, you make me cringe so hard I have to take ibuprofen some days. I have so much more, but my lunch break is almost over. Story 25. High school band director here. I know you didn't practice your instrument over the weekend. If you had, you wouldn't sound so poorly. The reason you have separate buses for boys and girls is because I don't want any inappropriate behavior among band members. I attended high school before you, and I know exactly what can happen on bus rides. In my 11-year career, the only names I truly remember are those of the exceptionally talented students and those who were completely inept. Lastly, this job is so intensely stressful that I think it might be taking years off my life. But if I lower my standards, your band experience will be forgettable. Story 26. Your sense of entitlement is most likely acquired from your upbringing, so parent-teacher conferences to discuss your grades are not going to do anything when the parents just blame us, despite you putting in little to no effort. Story 27. My gamertag. I usually say there's a policy against it, but there isn't. I just don't want to play Overwatch or whatever with a bunch of relatively good kids who turn into total monsters when they play video games. If I tell the cool ones, it'll get around. Story 28. I taught after-school care and summer school for a year, and I want so badly to tell them that, 1. Now is a great time to find out who they are and to stop parroting what they hear other people say. Stop trying so hard to make Jamie like you and be your friend, because even though you and Jamie have been friends since pre-K, people growing apart is normal, and Jamie is manipulative. I kept Owen and other troublemakers close to me in class because giving them just a little positive attention was infinitely preferable to giving them all of my attention in a negative light. Plus, maybe they just needed someone to listen and give them one-on-one attention, which I'm happy to do. It's useless saying it because it's not going to make a difference, but this week's crisis won't matter next year or maybe even next week, and it certainly won't matter on your deathbed. Story 29. A lot of us probably drink, smoke, and sleep around more than you do, and hearing you talking about it and trying to hide it as if it's something we wouldn't know about is richly ironic. Story 30. A few off the top of my head. Just because I like you as a person does not mean that I will not fail you. Being smart is not a justification for being lazy, and I cannot pass someone who never hands in work. I moved you away from your friends because they were taking you down with them. You have a real future in sports, but you need to pass my class to play them. Your friends were making you fail, and if you do not get to play volleyball, I do not know what kind of future you have in front of you. I wish that the positivity you get in my class could follow you home. I have met your parents, and they are a nightmare. I do my best to encourage you here, but I know that some days that just might not be enough. I have never and will never find a student intimidating. That is why I laughed at you when you asked me if I knew who your father was. Yes, he is the manager of a car dealership. That means nothing to nobody. I had a kid throw a desk at me, and while it scared me in the moment, it did not make me fear him. One day you will meet someone who has real power, and I just wish that I could be there to see it. Story 31. If you were foolish enough to have filmed yourself doing something that can get you in trouble, especially legal trouble, for the love of God, don't post it online. Edit. I am not telling them this because plenty of them would see it as me approving of them misbehaving as long as they don't get caught. Story 32. I hate the texts as much as you do, but everyone just shrugs when I suggest changing them up. I'm sorry they made us keep that awful after book on the list. I genuinely offered to buy them all back from students so I could burn the waste of time that they are. Story 33. You passed this course because the administration forced me to help you and give you 50 chances. Yes, you may graduate, but nobody will care to help you afterwards. You have no skills, work ethic, or respect. McDonald's doesn't want an employee that stares at their phone and curses at customers all day. I'm sorry that your parents failed you. Your inappropriate jokes are hilarious, but I'm not allowed to laugh at them. Yes, you may be smart, but nobody will care after you're done with school. Your future boss won't care about how high your raw intelligence is, so try harder, please. Some of your teachers at this school are really stupid. He's gross. Don't date him. Be quiet while I'm talking.